Admiral Schultz will now take a step forward to receive honors. Now it is my distinct pleasure to introduce Officer Candidate Shoemate and Officer Candidate Showalter for the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Commander Stahl Ryan, Chaplain, United States Navy, will now deliver the invocation.
Let us pray. Eternal Father, we gather here today, full of excitement as we celebrate with these OCS graduates. Lord, for the past 5 months, they have studied, trained, and have been tested to see if they meet the high standard to serve as NOAA and U.S. Coast Guard officers. Lord, by your presence here today, we and they say they do. We give you thanks, Lord, for all the hard work these men and women have accomplished to get to this point in their callings. We also give thanks for the family members and friends who have supported them on this journey. As we gather here today, Lord, may you move in their hearts to be officers with wisdom, understanding, and strength, ready to provide steadfast leadership to all those under their care. May their character shine through all they do by being examples to others of the values that the Coast Guard holds so dear. We ask this of you. Amen.
Please be seated. Over the years, a number of patriotic organizations and individuals have honored select members of our Officer Candidates class, and by doing so, welcome them to the Officer Corps. The following awards and recognitions are for individuals who excelled during their training. The Chief Warrant Officer Association Award. The Coast Guard Chief Warrant Officers Association presents a plaque to the temporary commissioned officer who has attained the highest overall academic average upon graduation. Chief Warrant Officer Ryan Dawson, will you please present the award too? Officer Candidate Cassandra Letsky. The NOAA Professional Mariner Award. Captain Carey will now present the NOAA Professional Mariner Award. This award is sponsored by NOAA's Associated Commission Officers and is presented to the NOAA Corps officer candidate with the highest academic average in maritime studies and who has demonstrated proficiency on multiple underway training platforms. Captain Carey, will you please present the award to Officer Candidate Bonnie Vieira. The Leadership Development Center Officer Candidate School Award. A plaque is presented to the officer candidate receiving a reserve commission who has attained the highest academic average during the course of studies. Captain Muse, will you please present the award to Officer Candidate Samuel Hackstein. The NOAA Academic Award. This award is sponsored by the NOAA Officer Family Association and is presented to the NOAA Corps officer candidate who has attained the highest academic average during the course of study. Captain Carey, will you please present the award to Officer Candidate Bonnie Vieira. The Navy Federal Award. The Navy Federal Credit Union presents an engraved desk clock to the officer candidate who has attained the highest average in military aptitude, including outstanding military bearing, leadership, and physical fitness. Heather Dedman, will you please present the Navy Federal Award to Officer Candidate James Hollingsworth. The Ensign Richard T. Ray Award. Ensign Richard T. Ray graduated from Officer Candidate School and was commissioned as an ensign in January 1967. In the course of his duties involving a silver engineering project, he met his untimely death in February 1968 at South Pass, Louisiana. His parents, Captain and Mrs. Richard F. Ray, established the award of a timepiece as a memorial to their son. This award is presented to the individual who is considered the most outstanding officer candidate in the class. The selection is based upon overall academic performance, conduct, military aptitude, and leadership. The selection was a difficult one, as there are several well-qualified candidates who merit this award. Admiral Raymond, will you please present the Ray Award to Officer Candidate Jure Fuller. NOAA's Distinguished Honor Graduate Award. This award is sponsored by the U.S. Coast and Geodetic Survey Heritage Society and is presented to the NOAA Corps Award candidate who's attained the highest overall average in academics, service aptitude, and personal and professional qualities. Captain Carey, will you please present the award to Officer Candidate Bonnie Vieira? The Commandant's Leadership Award. The major focus of the Officer Candidate School curriculum is leadership. As a testimony to the importance of this element in the overall training program, the Commandant of the Coast Guard presents a Leadership Award, which is a pewter bowl. The Commandant's Leadership Award is presented to the Officer Candidate who has exhibited the highest quality military leadership while attending Officer Candidate School. Admiral Schultz, will you please present the Commandant's Award to Officer Candidate Brittany S. Shoemate.
At this time, it is our privilege to have the United States Coast Guard Band Woodwind Quintet play a selection of service songs. Past and present members of the armed and uniformed services are invited to stand when their services song is played. Ladies and gentlemen, the United States Coast Guard Band. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me one more time in recognizing the performance of the United States Coast Guard Band. Additionally, I would just like to ask all of our guests in attendance today, if you could please remain masked while we are indoors. I'd appreciate it. Thank you again. The first oaths of office were given to those serving under the Continental Army beginning in 1775. A candidate had to not only name the 13 states, but also swear to keep them free, independent, and sovereign states, and declared no allegiance to George III, King of Great Britain. It was first updated in September 1776, after the Declaration of Independence, to swear to be true to the United States of America and to serve them honestly and faithfully against all their enemies whatsoever, and to observe and obey the orders of the Continental Congress and the orders of the generals and officers set over them. The oath has seen several refinements over the years until 1959, when it found its current form. At this time, it is my distinct pleasure and honor to administer the oath of office. Will the graduates please rise for the administration of the oath? Members of OCS Class 1 TAC 22 and BOTC 138, raise your right hand. Having been appointed ensigns in the United States Coast Guard, the United States Coast Guard Reserve, or the NOAA Commissioned Corps, repeat after me. I do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States. Against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. That I take this obligation freely, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. And that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which I am about to enter. So help me God. Officers, please be seated. At this time, it is my distinct pleasure to welcome Rear Admiral Michael Joe Raymond, Force Readiness Commander, who will share a few remarks before introducing our guest speaker. Admiral Raymond.
Good morning. Thank you, Commander Alisek, Admiral Schultz, Admiral Allen, Admiral Select Carey. Good morning, and thank you for being here to help the Leadership Development Center and FORCECOM celebrate this very special day for our service's newest officers. Admiral Kelly, thank you for your continued support of our Officer Candidate School and for making our officer candidates feel so welcome here on these hallowed 103 acres here in New London. To all of our family and friends joining us here today in person, as well as all of you that are joining us here virtually, welcome. The process of becoming an officer in the United States Coast Guard, NOAA, the Philippines, Jamaica, Antigua, Barbuda, and the Bahamas is not an easy one. And your encouragement, love, and support has inspired and enabled these officers to be here today to receive their commissions. Before I introduce our key speaker, I want to offer some brief words of advice to our graduates, and I promise I'll be brief. I recently had the honor of assuming command of FORCECOM. For those of you who are not familiar with FORCECOM, FORCECOM stands for the Coast Guard Force Readiness Command. And our mission is to ensure we maintain the world's best Coast Guard through a highly trained, professional, and ready workforce. As many of you know, our service motto is Semper Paratus, always ready. And this motto truly sets the standard for our service's readiness. Unlike other entities who strive to be ready some of the time, or perhaps ready just in time, we strive to be ready all the time. I encourage all of you to do so as well. Over the past 17 weeks, you have received extensive training and you have demonstrated the professionalism we expect of our officers. And you have demonstrated you are ready to assume the duties of your first assignment. I encourage you to continue to strive for a high state of readiness. Reflect on your daily actions and ensure that they support your personal readiness as well as your unit's readiness. How are you readying yourself and your crews for mission execution? If you continue to learn and maintain your training and your qualifications, then you will be ready not only to respond to the missions of today, but you will also be ready to meet the challenges of tomorrow. As you head to the fleet, I encourage you to reflect regularly on what you have learned and what you've experienced here at OCS, and ensure you don't lose focus on how important the role you play in your crews, your units, and the Coast Guard's readiness. And finally, one last piece of advice. While today is a celebration and a moment to reflect on what you've accomplished, I urge you not to see today as a conclusion, but rather as a beginning. What you have learned here at OCS is just the start, and in reality has provided you with a strong foundation upon which to build upon. As you report into your new units, I encourage you to listen, ask questions, and continue to learn. I know your new shipmates will teach you a lot. They will do this through their coaching, through their example, and through their stories. If you listen, and I said listen, if you listen carefully, I promise you, you will soak up so much of their many lessons, and you will be able to put them to work for you. Congratulations again. It is now my distinct honor to introduce our keynote speaker. We are honored to have our 26th Commandant, Admiral Carl Schultz, here with us today. Admiral Schultz is a cutterman with over 11 years of sea time, and he has commanded the cutters Farallon, Acacia, and Venturous. Ashore, he has commanded Sector Miami, the 11th Coast Guard District, and Coast Guard Atlantic Area. He is a native of Connecticut and graduated from the Coast Guard Academy in 1983, earning a Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering. In 1992, he was awarded a master's degree in public administration from the University of Connecticut. And in 2006, he completed a one-year National Security Fellowship at Harvard University's Kennedy School of Government. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to our Commandant, Admiral Carl Schultz. Thank you, Peter.
Well, good morning, and congratulations to our new graduates, our 61 new Coast Guard ensigns, our 11 new ensigns in the NOAA Corps, and to our 7 internationals. What a privilege it is to be. I tell you, I didn't think it got any better than being on the parade grounds this morning with the leaves starting to turn, mid-40s, low 50s, families watching, and then you watch the video, and you say, wow. What can you do with 79 young men and women who stepped forward and serving their respective services or countries in a course of 17 weeks? That was pretty fantastic. And I'll take exception with one thing Mr. Eisen said. Forrest Gump, it's time to go home and you're tired. Boy, you better not be tired because we're getting ready to put you guys to work. We're going to make you eat those words, Mr. Eisen. But listen, what a treat to be here. Admiral Kelly, Angie Kelly, Master Chief D'Angelo, thanks for all you continue to do. This is our leadership center of gravity for the Coast Guard. Every commissioned officer comes through New London, here through the LDC or through the Coast Guard Academy, and they are intertwined like never before. And our 10-year relationship with NOAA, I think it's truly just a terrific partnership. To all my colleagues that have been named many times on stage already, I just extend my gratitude and appreciation for you being here today. To Chad Carey, congrats on your selection, Admiral Select, pending Senate confirmation, Carey. But thanks for the terrific partnership we enjoy with the NOAA Corps. As you think about that video, what I took away was a couple things: teamwork and accomplishment. They were pressed, they worked hard, but boy, I saw a lot of smiles there. I saw a lot of sense of accomplishment, saw a lot of teamwork. One of our international colleagues here from the Bahamas, Lieutenant Smith, as many of these classes have had the privilege to come up and serve at some graduation as presiding official. There's hardship. Lieutenant Smith went through a tragedy in his family, and his shipmates rallied around it. And that is reflective of what being at a team or a unit's like when you leave Chase Hall and you leave Academy grounds today and you're out in the field, because teammates rally around shipmates in hardship. But I could not be any more excited or any prouder today to be here with you, Lieutenant Smith. I understand your family's here, and with all of them. And I'd like to extend a round of gratitude and appreciation to the OCS and the BOTC staff for producing this great group of young men and women that are going to serve their respective agencies and respective countries. Please join me recognizing the staff here. You know, our international students, our international officers join us from the Philippines, Jamaica, Antigua and Barbuda, and the Bahamas. And like I said, a special congratulations. Thank you for being full participants in this 17-week experience, because we are better Coast Guardsmen and better NOAA officers when we forge these bonds early in our respective careers. We'll talk a little bit more about the importance of that. Your experiences collectively have undoubtedly prepared you to do great things out there in your respective services and for our nation and for your nations. You know, I suspect one day each of you will call upon your classmates that wore different uniforms from different countries, to tackle some of the toughest global maritime challenges that face us as a global society. And what a great underpinning to have this relationship, this Rolodex of 78 colleagues to take with you when you start the next chapter of your professional careers. This group, I believe, has amassed more than 390 years of service already. So many of them came in with up to 15 years of service in the Coast Guard. Or in Yvonne, congratulations to you. I see you're sporting some background as a Navy officer, but clean sweep for you. But this is an accomplished group already. Universities all over the country, travels across the world, singers, as you heard by those that did our national anthem. This is truly a tremendous group, but it's a tremendous group now that's going to take their service after taking their oath, some not the first time they took an oath to serve their country, but their oath as new ensigns to serve their country at a new level of responsibility. And this is just exciting for you, exciting for us. You know, to the families, thank you. This is the first time in the last couple of years we've done one of these OCS BOTC graduates with this many family members in the house. And boy, what a treat it is to be here. I watched it sort of with the dangerous counting public math thing, but I was watching how many families stood up during the service medleys. It gets confusing when the Coast Guard medley, but up to the Coast Guard, Semper Paratus, there was 40 members that stood up that had served your country in some form or capacity, and somewhere between 5 and 10 additional coasties. But I think about in this group of 11 NOAA officers, 61 Coast Guard officers, more than 50% of that group is from families of service. And I want to thank you for pushing your sons or daughters out to continue your proud legacy of service to our great nations. That's nothing small. And as we roll up on Thursday, we'll reflect on what was Armistice Day back in the 11th hour, the 11th month of the 11th day, when the first great war, World War I, ended. Thursday we'll celebrate what's now known as Veterans Day since 1954. And I just want to thank all of you for your service and for continuing to push your families forward. How about a round of applause for all our families here today? So you guys are ready. The cadre, your senior leaders, Admiral Allen, your mentor, he tells me you're ready. But apparently, there's a few interesting activities along the way. I came to learn, looking at my notes over the weekend, that some of you went up to Portsmouth, New Hampshire to collect a little ocean water, seawater, for a sword ceremony. And like no good plan, someone put that seawater by the coffee maker. And someone up and had a really salty pot of coffee in the morning. So I guess for seagoing folks, that's okay. Salty's a good thing, but we learn. We learn through life. We learn lessons the hard way, but some of our best learning is through those mistakes, through those lessons, and I had a chuckle at that. You know, I think about what you'll be doing. I think about leadership. I think about leadership really being a contact sport. Arguably, leadership is an extreme sport of sorts. You know, it can't be played from the sidelines. Leaders are involved. Leaders listen. Leaders scan the field. Leaders call audibles. They call in plays when the circumstances of the game change. They persevere. When a leader gets knocked down, they have no choice but to get back up, get back in the game, get up quickly, and learn from their experiences. And leaders know that we are stronger together when we work towards common goals, when we work towards common objectives, when we get shipmates through tough personal situations. We know that the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. And when we work together, when we collaborate, we can do tremendous things. In this past 17 weeks, this was a case study in team building, in leadership development, and the skills that will send these young men and women out to do great things in their responsibilities and duties. You know, leaders often have to choose between the hard right thing and sometimes the convenient or easy thing to do. You know, leaders take warranted risks. Smart leaders accept smart failures. Smart leaders recognize when shipmates are making a mistake, if it's well-intended, and give them a chance to bounce back and recover from that. And you are smart leaders. Smart leaders recognize when something isn't right, when there's a gap or a breakdown in the process. It's incumbent upon you to put your thoughtful effort and brain power into that and resolve that. Not to walk by it, not to overlook it, not to think it's somebody else's responsibility, but it's incumbent upon you to address it. And as daunting as it may sound, leading others is the most cherished part of your chosen, our chosen, respective officership career track. It's human nature for everybody to want to be a valued member of a team, a valued partner. And when everybody contributes to a team, therein resides the secret to being valued. You know, fueling and harvesting that sense of value starts with you being a servant leader. It starts with you being an inclusive leader. We talk a lot about that in the Coast Guard. And we're on a journey to be not just the world's best Coast Guard, but the world's most inclusive Coast Guard. Your role, whether operational or tactical as a leader, it makes a difference in a shipmate's choice to stay on our Coast Guard team, to go to that next level, to maybe go from the enlisted ranks to the warrant or officer ranks, or to go on and serve their country beyond retirement at 20. People are, not in just the Coast Guard, but in NOAA, in the respective countries represented here today by our 7 internationals. People are the strength that all our agencies are underpinned by. You know, to our Coast Guard graduates, our new Coast Guard ensigns, let our core values of honor, respect, devotion to duty guide your actions, whether that's saving mariners in distress, interdicting illicit substances, responding to contingencies, hurricanes, oil spills, you name it, you'll be doing it. And in the course of your career, let those same core values be your anchor to windward. Let those same core values serve to inform your actions as you engage across a wide spectrum of interagency and joint service operations and challenges that will find you, that will find the teams and units you lead. And let me challenge you to use those same core values to forge solutions and build networks. Our ability to collaborate is truly powerful. It's unmatched. Our Commander-in-Chief says, and I quote, "We lead not only by example of our power, but by the power of our example." Here's just a few examples how our Coast Guardsmen collaborate with partners to accomplish our service missions. At every Coast Guard sector or Marine Safety Unit, and about 2/3 of our Coast Guard cohort today will be heading off to these type of units. You'll partner with the maritime industry, organizations like the Army Corps, local, state, and federal level government leaders. And you'll be promoting environmental stewardship, safety, security in your respective geographic regions. 25,000 miles of navigable waterways, 360 plus ports. That makes up our marine transportation system. 31 million jobs, $5.6 trillion of annual gross domestic product are tied to those waterways. And you'll have a key interagency role there. And you'll be enabling the prosperity of this nation. We see the challenges afoot right now as we have challenges with the global supply chain. But coasties are in the thick of that. And you will be doing that based on the strength of the partnerships. And some of that starts right here with your NOAA shipmates. You know, our seaports are the gateway for 90% of all those goods and commodities we consume as a nation. And those marine safety prevention types, you'll be doing vessel inspections, port state control, ensuring environmental compliance, ensuring compliance with all our emissions controls, all that range of stuff. And further up the chain, we'll be doing credentialing at the National Maritime Center. But you truly are part of the team enabling global operations. Sector personnel also work with local port stakeholders to minimize disruptions, whether it's the hurricanes we've seen in the Gulf region over the years, whether it's the oil spill off of California, both man-made and natural disasters, but you will step in and you'll bring calm and stability to those contingency operations. This past year, our Maritime Cyber Readiness Branch investigated 28 cyber incidents. You talk about an increasingly challenging threatscape. Cyber is the yet-to-be-determined threatscape that we're building into, just learning and building out our nascent capabilities. But the sectors, the marine safety units, are absolutely in that space, collaborating, building partnerships, forging networks, and challenging adversaries that want to bring down our system, our American way, our lifestyle. And when we look into some of the eaches of this class, Ensign Brandon Spiciarch and Gabriel Foremus are both bound for Sector Houston-Galveston. I'll be heading to Houston-Galveston tomorrow to visit our units and work with the interagency team down there. But they're going to discover real quickly that Mother Nature affects maritime commerce. Storms displace buoys and range navigation markers. They block channels with debris, sunken vessels. And when you look at a port and you look at a closure, it's millions of dollars of lost economic activity daily, not monthly, but daily. It rolls up to tens and hundreds of millions over the course of a couple short weeks. And after each storm, our team works alongside all the partners to bring those systems back to steady state and normal. You know, 14 of our graduates are going to be off working a little bit offshore, working with myriad partners in the maritime security piece, out on our cutters. Ensign Cassandra Litsky, one of our awardees, and Ariana Calvert are heading off the National Security Cutter Monroe, 419 feet of steel, empowered by a crew of about 128. Then you layer in cryptology specialists, aviation detachment, law enforcement teams, but about 175 sailors wearing Coast Guard uniforms deployed around the globe. Let me tell you a little bit about what Monroe did. Monroe just got back from a 102-day, 22,000 nautical mile journey. In that period, she deployed to the Indo-Pacific, or the 7th Fleet, working for the 7th Fleet Commander on their objectives. They operated alongside the Philippines Coast Guard, the Philippines Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources. They conducted exercise with Japan's Maritime Defense Force, as well as the Japanese Coast Guard in the East China Sea. They operated with the Indonesian Maritime Security Agency, what they call BACAMLA, their Coast Guard, in the Singapore Strait. They transited the Taiwan Strait alongside a Navy ship on reciprocal courses, and they participated in a 3-day at-sea exercise with Australian naval forces, including the Australian carrier. They made port calls in Guam. They made port calls in Yosuka, Japan. But that's what one Coast Guard cutter did in a 102-day patrol. They projected our unique authorities. They projected our goodness, our maritime governance, adherence to the rule-based order across the globe. Ensign Marissa Skidmore heads to the medium endurance cutter Thetis. Thetis is a 270-foot ship that's going to escort the next 2 fast response cutters over to the Mediterranean to operate in Bahrain. And after Thetis gets them to the Med, she'll break off and work off the west coast of Africa, one of the areas where there's great security challenges, there's great economic challenges. We see IUUF, illegal, unregulated, unreported fishing, occurring at large scale, and they're going to bring some semblance of order. They'll partner with African partner nations, they'll partner with the Portuguese and other European countries that place themselves there because of the important security aspects. But that's what Ms. Skidmore will be doing. Exciting stuff, the stuff that great adventure is made from. And our global brand is high, never been higher in terms of demand. Coastal nations around the world increasingly seek out the United States Coast Guard as a partner. And we look for each and every opportunity to lay in our capacity, our smarts, and build those relationships. And then back here at home, we have 6 or 7 cutters deployed on any given day, eradicating illicit narcotics, bound for the Central American corridor, bound for Mexico, but ultimately bound for our streets, bound for our schools. And on an annual basis, over the last 4 or 5 years, we remove about 450,000 pounds of illegal drugs. That's what some of these young men and women are going to be doing on their cutters, deploying around the world. When you think about what does that insidious illicit activity do, it drives people out of countries like El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Mexico, to our southwest land border, which is a whole different problem set we're confronting here. And what kind of nation do we want to be dealing with that difficult problem? But those are your coasties. And Ensign Audrey Dean is going to be heading to the front line. She'll be part of ALITA, Law Enforcement Detachment, Detachment 406. And she'll be keeping those drugs not just out of our communities, as I alluded to, but she'll be sending a signal to those countries writ large that the United States cares, that the United States is a committed partner, that the United States is doubling down on security here in the Western Hemisphere. And 6 graduates off the flight school at Pensacola, and pilots collaborate as well. And they're off to an exciting adventure, whether it's out there rescuing folks off a dark, stormy night, or securing the access to one of our critical ports and waterways. Great adventure lies ahead from them. You know, I think about my recent travels. I was up in Cape Cod just a couple weeks back with Admiral Allen, and we recognized Coast Guard Air Station Cape Cod shipmates for their extraordinary work. They went out on a dark, stormy night with Canadian counterparts, talking about international, talking about interagency. We've launched a fixed wing, and we launched 2 MH-60 Jayhawks. The Canadians launched multiple airplanes. But they removed 27 fishermen from a crew of 31 through multiple hoists at night, 50-knot winds, 30-foot seas. The ship had suffered a fire, was without any power whatsoever. But that's what lies ahead for our Coast Guard aviators. And it just demonstrates the skill of our people, the ability to partner internationally. The Canadian aircraft had a problem, had to depart scene and go back under escort by one of our fixed wing. But that's the space our teammates will go into. And then really, when I think about rolling all this up, this is that extreme sport. This is that leadership model that you will find yourself in a key role for. So as you accelerate your careers to this next chapter, pause and celebrate. You can be a little tired, as Mr. Eisen said, but get over that quick. Get yourself dialed in. Reflect for a bit on your accomplishments, because what you've been through these past 17 weeks has not been easy. It wasn't intended to be easy, but it was intended to prepare you to serve as officers. And you are ready. You are absolutely ready. And I can't wait to watch the difference you're going to make for our nation, the difference you're going to make for our Coast Guard, for our NOAA Corps. I can't wait to hear the stories of when you're going to interact with your 7 international officers and students that were here, because those days will come. Those days are ahead. Those days will make us stronger. So live and lead by our core values. Remain agile, stay grounded. Embrace the challenges you encounter. To our NOAA teammates, you know, I know you'll embrace your service motto: science, service, and stewardship, as you report, and each and every one of you are going to afloat assignments. So our paths will certainly cross. You are ready, OCS Class 122 and BOTC Class 138. You are absolutely ready. You are prepared, and you are ready to take on your commissioned officer roles. So in closing, let me just say to my fellow Eagle sailors, you know, it's very rare for a commandant to have a chance to spend 3 days with a group of OCs and BOTC students, but I got to tell you, we had a lot of fun. I joined this group in Norfolk and got off here in New London, Connecticut. And what a neat insight to just the caliber of young men and women that are stepping forward that want to serve. Some that had been in uniform before, and some that came off American streets. But I got to know this group, unlike other groups here. A couple of these in this group I served with previous in my time, Gianna Ventosa and Dan Jones. But this is a special group of future leaders. And I got to tell you, we are in good stead as a nation, and we're pushing forth 61 new OCS ensigns today from this group and 11 new BOTC officers and their 7 international shipmates. So I challenge you to stay excited, stay enthusiastic, lean back on what you learned here at school, and I congratulate you on your commissions, and I welcome you to service as commissioned officers. Semper Paratus, thank you very much.
Thank you, Admiral Schultz, for your remarks and for taking the time of your busy schedule to be here on such an important day. Commander Alexak and I will now read the names of our graduates, followed by their country or the Coast Guard or NOAA Corps unit they are reporting to. Graduates, man the rail. At this time, I would like to invite Captain Carey to come forward to present graduation certificates to NOAA Corps Basic Officer Training Class 138. The officers graduating today are Ensign Carrington S. Connerly, nose ship Gordon Gunner, Pascagoula, Mississippi. Ensign Michael S. Donahue, nose ship Oscar Elton Seti, Honolulu, Hawaii. Ensign Forrest M. Foxon, nose ship Thomas Jefferson, Norfolk, Virginia. His commission will be presented to by his father-in-law, Senior Airman Frank Estrada, Air Force National Guard veteran. Ensign Anna O. Gaskill, nose ship Oscar Dyson, Kodiak, Alaska. Her commission will be presented by her father, Commander Christian Gaskill, U.S. Navy retired. Ensign Heather L. Gahn, nose ship Pisces, Pascagoula, Mississippi. Ensign Mikhail J. Montgomery, nose ship Henry Bigelow, Newport, Rhode Island. His commission will be presented by his aunt, Master Sergeant Jamelia Montgomery, U.S. Army retired. Ensign Desda J. Sisson, nose ship Nancy Foster, Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Daniel E. Stofka, nose ship Ruben Lasker, San Diego, California. His commission will be presented by his brother, Lieutenant Colonel Jonathan Stofka, U.S. Marine Corps. Ensign Gemma L. Venuti, nose ship Ronald H. Brown, Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Bonnie A. Vieira, nose ship Rainier, Newport, Oregon. Ensign Justin I. Weeks, nose ship Oregon 2, Pascagoula, Mississippi.
At this time, I'd like to invite Admiral Schultz to come forward to present graduation certificates to Officer Candidate Class 1 TAC 22. International students graduating today are Ensign Charissa Abel, Antigua and Barbuda Defense Force. Ensign Joel Balaba, Coast Guard Education and Training and Doctrine Command, Manila, Philippines. Ensign Kenton Lewis, Jamaican Coast Guard, Port Royal, Jamaica. Ensign Neil Carlo Olegario, Coast Guard Education and Training and Doctrine Command, Manila, Philippines. International Officers Graduating Officer Indoctrination School, Ensign Annika Bating, Coast Guard Education and Training and Doctrine Command, Manila, Philippines. Lieutenant Julian Smith, Executive Officer, Intelligence Department, Royal Bahamas Defense Force. Ensign Nigel Villaflor, Coast Guard Education and Training and Doctrine Command, Manila, Philippines. Ensign Connor Acosta, Sector Miami, Miami, Florida. His commission will be presented by his wife, Ensign Andrea Parada, U.S. Coast Guard. Ensign Taylor Afison, Sector Puget Sound, Seattle, Washington. Ensign Adib Ahmad, Sector Detroit, Detroit, Michigan. Ensign Katia Armbrecht, U.S. Coast Guard Cutter Spencer, Portsmouth, Virginia. Her commission will be presented by her father, Specialist David Armbrecht, U.S. Army veteran. Ensign Melanie Ariave, Sector Virginia, Portsmouth, Virginia. Ensign John Barone, Sector San Francisco, San Francisco, California. Ensign Jonathan Burke, Sector LALB, San Pedro, California. Ensign Jessica Cabral, U.S. Coast Guard Cutter Campbell, Newport, Rhode Island. Her commission will be presented by her husband, Petty Officer Carlos Cabral, U.S. Coast Guard. Ensign Ariana Calvert, U.S. Coast Guard Cutter Monroe, Alameda, California. Her commission will be presented by her father, Petty Officer Thaddeus Calvert, U.S. Navy veteran. Ensign Benjamin Card, Sector Northern New England, South Portland, Maine. Ensign Kaylee Cardwell, Sector Key West, Florida. Her commission will be presented by her father, Sergeant First Class B.J. Cardwell, U.S. Army, retired. Ensign Maximilian Carfagno, Sector Juneau, Alaska. Ensign Brandon Kavanaugh, Sector Mobile, Alabama. Ensign Madison Coughlin, Sector Long Island Sound, New Haven, Connecticut. Ensign Camille Crabtree, Flight School, Pensacola, Florida. Her commission will be presented by her uncle, Lieutenant Colonel Lawrence Burgoyne, U.S. Army, retired. Ensign Rodney Crowley, Maritime Safety Unit, Portland, Oregon. Congrats. Ensign Audrey Dean, Tacklet South, Leadette 406, Miami, Florida. Ensign Angie Foote, Sector Boston, Massachusetts. Ensign Gabriela Faramis, Sector Houston, Galveston, Houston, Texas. Her commission will be presented by her uncle, Master Sergeant James Faramis, U.S. Army, retired. Ensign Mariah French, Sector Mobile, Alabama. Her commission will be presented by her grandfather, Lieutenant Colonel David Johns, U.S. Marine Corps, retired. Ensign Jury Fuller, U.S. Coast Guard Cutter Hamilton, Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Peter Gaudet, Flight School, Pensacola, Florida. His commission will be presented by his brother, Lieutenant J.G. Josh Gaudet, U.S. Coast Guard. Ensign Taylor Gibbons, Sector Los Angeles, Long Beach, San Pedro, California. Ensign Colin Gilly, Sector Corpus Christi, Texas. His commission will be presented by his father-in-law, Captain Ryan Griffin, U.S. Coast Guard, retired. Ensign Connor Graham, U.S. Coast Guard Cutter Resolute, St. Petersburg, Florida. Ensign Michelle Hackstein, Sector New Orleans, Louisiana. Her commission will be presented by her husband, Ensign Jonathan Hackstein, U.S. Coast Guard. And Ensign Samuel Hackstein, U.S. Coast Guard Cutter Richard Dixon, San Juan, Puerto Rico. His commission will be presented by his brother, Ensign Jonathan Hackstein, U.S. Coast Guard. For those trying to figure it out, in the last 6 months, the Coast Guard has got 3 Hackstein ensigns into the service right now. Ensign Michaela Hergis, U.S. Coast Guard Cutter Bear, Portsmouth, Virginia. Her commission will be presented by her husband, Petty Officer Andrew Hergis, U.S. Coast Guard. Ensign Larry Hill, Sector LALB, San Pedro, California. Ensign David Holland, Sector Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign James Hollingsworth, Flight School, Pensacola, Florida. Ensign Logan Holt, U.S. Coast Guard Cutter Valiant, Mayport, Florida. His commission will be presented by his father, Petty Officer Daniel Holt, U.S. Navy veteran. Ensign Donald Hood, Flight School, Pensacola, Florida. Ensign Marley-Ann Hudson, Sector Maryland National Capital Region, Baltimore, Maryland. Her commission will be presented by her husband, Chief Petty Officer Jason Hudson, U.S. Coast Guard. Ensign Jennifer Johnston, Sector Virginia, Portsmouth, Virginia. Her commission will be presented by her sister, Petty Officer Megan Johnston, U.S. Coast Guard. Ensign Daniel Jones, Sector Honolulu, Honolulu, Hawaii. Ensign Cassandra Letsky, U.S. Coast Guard Cutter Monroe, Alameda, California. Ensign Cheryl Ann Miyashiro, Sector Jacksonville, Jacksonville, Florida. Her commission will be presented by her husband, Specialist Abdul Rahman Sakar, U.S. Army. Ensign Carly Moore, Sector Southeast New England, Woods Hole, Massachusetts. Her commission will be presented by her husband, Petty Officer Jonathan Stamper, U.S. Coast Guard. Ensign David Moore, Sector New York, Staten Island, New York. Ensign Rosa Marie Perdomo, Sector Delaware Bay, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Ensign Marianne Philippe, Sector Jacksonville, Jacksonville, Florida. Ensign Andrea Pitts, U.S. Coast Guard Cutter Alert, Astoria, Oregon. Ensign Jake Pritchett, Flight School, Pensacola, Florida. Ensign Derek Rozich, Marine Safety Unit, Texas City, Texas. Ensign Zachary Seiler, U.S. Coast Guard Cutter Dauntless, Pensacola, Florida. Ensign Derek Severins, Sector New York, Staten Island, New York. Ensign Caleb Showalter, Sector Honolulu, Honolulu, Hawaii. His commission will be presented by his father, Lieutenant Commander Kenneth Showalter, U.S. Navy, retired. Ensign Brittany Shoemate, Marine Safety Unit, Texas City, Texas. Ensign Marissa Skidmore, U.S. Coast Guard Cutter Thetis, Key West, Florida. Her commission will be presented by her father, Lieutenant Colonel James Skidmore, U.S. Army, retired. Ensign Brandon Spiciarich, Sector Houston, Galveston, Houston, Texas. Congrats. Ensign Connor Sullivan, Sector St. Petersburg, Florida. Ensign Connor Sullivan, Sector St. Petersburg, Florida. Oh, we did that one. Twice. He can come back. No. Ensign Alexander Salaji, U.S. Coast Guard Cutter William Trump, Key West, Florida. Ensign John Teeter, Sector San Francisco, California. Ensign Ethan Trollander, Flight School, Pensacola, Florida. Ensign Brian Unwin Ebelink, Marine Safety Unit, Port Arthur, Texas. Ensign Gianna Ventosa, Sector Puget Sound, Seattle, Washington. Ensign Nicholas Vratsinis, Sector St. Petersburg, Florida. Ensign Tegan Walsh, Sector Miami, Florida. Ensign Joseph White, MSST San Francisco, California. Ensign Lauren Wild, U.S. Coast Guard Cutter Kukui, Sitka, Alaska. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in a round of applause for these newly commissioned officers.
I'd be remiss if we didn't take a minute to recognize the extremely talented, dedicated, and hardworking men and women of the Officer Candidate School, both Coast Guard and NOAA. Please join me in recognizing the folks that made these officers who they are today. Will both staffs please rise? Will the audience please rise? Chaplain Stahl Ryan will now deliver the benediction. Following the benediction, please remain standing during the playing of Into the Oceans in the Air and Semper Paratus and the departure of the official party. Chaplain.
Let us pray. Eternal Father, as we bring this ceremony to a close, and we send these new officers to duty stations throughout this planet, may they be excited and motivated with the NOAA and Coast Guard mission and eager to answer the call to go forward into any situation that needs them. May they always remember the duties to which they have been called by bringing honor, respect, and devotion to duty to their professional and private lives. Keep our new officers and their families safe as they travel to their new duty stations. Be with us all, Lord, as we strive to live as you have called us. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Now, official party departing. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our graduation ceremony. Thank you for joining us today.